for the opportunity to testify before the committee today.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Secretary, how many employees did the Department of Energy have when you took over?
Just around 16,000 government employees.
How many does it have today?
A little under 16,000 today.
Okay. How much have you reduced it percentage-wise?
So far, only a relatively small amount. We are looking at larger reductions, and as Senator Murray mentioned, we have offered voluntary plans and programs for people to be compensated by the government as they transition to another career. We've done this slowly, carefully, with a lot of engagement with people, and while looking at how to restructure our department. So the ultimate reduction in workforce will be larger than it's been today, but today our payroll has barely moved.
Most entities in the private sector of the size of the Department of Energy know how to modernize and downsize, do they not?
It's essential to survival as a business. If you want to roll with changes in the marketplace and the business, you better be ready to change your organization.
Okay. I just read recently where Microsoft, one of the most successful companies in the world, is going to reduce its workforce by 6,000 employees. Do you think that's going to be the end of Microsoft?
No, it won't be the end of Microsoft. These are, I will say, these are the hardest things to do, whether it's in a company or a government agency. You know, these are people's lives, and our department is blessed with tremendous men and women who've made enormous contributions. But you're right, Senator Kennedy. We have to look at it critically and right size and align the organization to the missions and challenges of today.
Let me ask you a couple of specific questions, Mr. Secretary. As a result, we had a party around here under the Biden administration. And when you have a party, you have to pay the band when the party's over. As a result of the party, if you count the Inflation Reduction Act, which was the Green New Deal, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, also part of the Green New Deal, the CHIPS and Science Act, your department got $99 billion in new appropriations, $30.5 billion in new authorizations, and loan authority of over $400 billion. How much of that $400 billion authority to loan money did the Department of Energy use?
Nearly $100 billion. Nearly $100 billion. Thank you for making the point that more money, as is shown in your graph and the numbers you quoted, and more people, that headcount in the department grew over 20% during those 4 years. Our electricity output of the nation as a whole grew about 2%, and the cost per unit of electricity grew 28%.
Well, here's what
we didn't deliver results for all that.
Here's what the Inspector General said about some of the loans. The Inspector General, these are the Inspector General's assessment, not mine. The Inspector General called many of these loans, quote, high risk. High risk. And he said that these loans were designed to promote innovation by financing projects, fine, not otherwise acceptable by private equity and investors. What does that mean? That means that the private sector wouldn't get near these projects with a 10-foot...
In a hearing marked by sharp questions and rising tension, Senator John Kennedy confronts the Secretary of Energy over what he calls spending porn, a wave of loans, grants, and financial decisions he believes are risky, wasteful, and unfair to American taxpayers. Today's breakdown uncovers the key moments, the numbers behind the accusations, and what this exchange reveals about the future of U.S. energy policy and government spending.
These projects with a 10-foot pole, would they? Only government would put up the money, wouldn't it?
That's correct.
For example, he found that DOE, under your predecessor, announced that it was going to make a $400 million loan. Actually, it wasn't a loan, it was a grant to two companies. They announced it. And then somebody pointed out to them that they were Chinese companies. They had to pull the grant back. why are we loaning money? This is another issue brought out by the Inspector General. Why are we loaning $7.5 billion to Stellantis? They can't get a bank loan themselves. I mean, J.P. Morgan and Bank of America have been shoving money out the door for energy projects. Why did we loan $9.63 billion to Blue Oval? Why are we doing all of this? I'm gonna quickly give you an example. I had a gentleman, I'm not going to use any names, come into my office yesterday. He's from a very wealthy family in another country. He wants to build a solar manufacturing plant in America. He's putting up $1 billion. You know how much the American taxpayer is going to put up? $850 million. So he's going to get, thanks to the American taxpayer, $1 billion plant for $150 million to produce solar panels, which the world is awash in. This is unconscionable. And I hope you'll do something about it, Mr. Secretary. Now, at some point, we're going to get real specific about savings. And I'm going to expect you to get real specific with us. I don't want to not fund anything that's vital. But I'm tired of the spending porn. I'm tired of it.
Enjoyed this breakdown? Don't forget to like, comment, and hit the subscriber button for more political showdown.